The suicide bridge in Japan, why does everyone who crosses it jump off, and the cold truth? Deep in the shadowed mountains of Japan, hidden beneath layers of moss and mist, lies a bridge with a chilling reputation. Locals call it Shinmei no hashi, the bridge of divine light. But to outsiders, it's known by another name. The Suicide Bridge of Japan. For decades, whispers have echoed about this quiet, unassuming structure. They say anyone who walks across feels an overwhelming urge to jump. Not from sadness. Not from despair. But from something else. Something they can't explain. Why? What causes this strange compulsion? Is it supernatural, or could science and history reveal a more grounded explanation? The legend and the pattern. Stories began in the 1930s, during the early Showa period. A local farmer, healthy and jovial, was seen walking across the bridge just after sunset. He never returned. A week later, another villager vanished. By the 1950s, the pattern had grown undeniable. People who had no prior signs of depression would walk across the bridge and simply disappear. My grandfather told me never to cross it after dark. He said the bridge calls to you, like a whisper in your blood. By the late 20th century, urban legends had transformed this spot into a symbol of sorrow. Locals avoided it. Tourists sought it. The media branded it cursed. The scientific puzzle. In 1998, Professor Hiroshi Tanaka, a behavioral neuroscientist from Kyoto University, began investigating the phenomenon. He wasn't looking for ghosts. He was looking for patterns in the brain. He noted something strange: nearly every person reported feelings of dizziness, detachment, and irrational thoughts while standing on the bridge, even those with no mental health history. Could there be something physical, in the environment, causing these reactions? Tanaka's team began scanning the area using electromagnetic field detectors. What they found stunned them. The magnetic anomaly. Beneath the bridge, running deep through the earth, lies a natural fault line rich in ferromagnetic minerals, particularly magnetite. Over time, shifting tectonic plates had created a localized magnetic anomaly. The field was not strong enough to damage electronics, but just strong enough to affect the human brain. In experiments across the globe, including Canada, Russia, and France, scientists have shown that exposure to certain low-frequency magnetic fields can trigger emotional shifts, hallucinations, and even suicidal ideation in highly sensitive individuals. In the 1980s, Dr. Michael Persinger developed the God Helmet, a device that uses magnetic fields to stimulate the temporal lobes. Volunteers reported intense emotional experiences, some euphoric, some terrifying. Some felt an unseen presence. Others felt compelled to act without reason. The human brain, it seems, is more electrically sensitive than we'd like to admit. History buried beneath. But there was another layer to the mystery. Shinmei no hashi was not always a bridge. Long before it existed, this location was the site of a forgotten shrine, a place where grieving families came to perform rituals for the dead. It was said to be a shinbatsuchi, a divine punishment site, where condemned individuals were taken for final reflection and solitude before death. Over centuries, the rituals faded. The forest grew. The bridge was built during the Meiji period to connect logging routes. But the land, some believe, remembers. Modern psychology calls this the place memory effect, a phenomenon where the history of a location influences people's mental states through cultural suggestion and environmental cues. Part 5, The Human Mind and Suggestion. There's one more twist to this story. In 2005, a group of psychology students conducted a blind experiment. Participants were told they were testing a balance aid device. Half were taken across a normal bridge. The other half, across a replica of the infamous Shinmei Bridge, complete with forest sounds and lighting. Despite not knowing the location, over 60% of those on the replica reported unease, disorientation, and an irrational urge to look over the edge. It felt like the trees were watching me. I had this weird thought, what if I just let go? Scientists now believe that a combination of subtle environmental stressors, magnetic fields, architecture, sound, light, and cultural mythology, can combine to trigger profound psychological effects. The bridge doesn't make people jump. But it creates the perfect storm of conditions where the mind, already fragile, might tip. So, what is the truth behind Japan's suicide bridge? It's not a curse. Not a ghost. But something far more human, and far more important to understand. It reminds us how deeply our environment can influence our thoughts, how history leaves scars in the earth and the mind, and how science can unravel even our darkest mysteries. In the end, the bridge stands silent, not as a monster, but as a mirror. If you or someone you love is struggling, please remember, there is help. There is always a way forward. Subscribe for more stories like this.